All of you. Myself, Ghanshyam Singh B. Jadeja from Computer Engineering Department of Government Polytechnic, Gandhinagar. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all the dignitaries, Dr. Bhaskar V. Bhatt sir, Associate Professor, SMAID College, and Honorable Secretary cum Treasurer of ISTE, Dr. A.C. Dhaneshwar sir, Deputy Director, Commissariat of Technical Education, Government of Gujarat, our virtual presence here, and Mr. Raza Nurani sir, co-founder and CEO of Impero IT Services Private Limited, Mr. Drumil sir, senior developer and co-organizer of Google Developer Group Ahmedabad, Professor J.T. Patankar sir, Honorable Principal, Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar, Ms. M.P. Mehta ma'am, Head of the Computer Engineering Department, Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar, Ms. Meeta V. Prajapati ma'am, Senior Lecturer, Computer Engineering Department, Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar, and all the participants from colleges and universities in this AICTE ISTE Induction Refresher Program on application development using Flutter for faculties of technical institution from 11 January 2022 to 17 January 2022. We would like to begin this FDP with prayer to Goddess Saraswati for the blessings. So I request all of you to join small prayer. Please put your hand together and close your eye for the small prayer I will play here.
सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा.
Thank you all of you. Now, I am glad to announce that this FDP is co-sponsored by Indian Society for Technical Education, New Delhi, and majority of our faculty members of our institute, as well as participants from different institutes, having lifetime membership of IST. So we are thanking him. It is matter of great pleasure and honor to me to invite Mr. Bhaskar V. Bhatt sir, Associate Professor, SMID College, and Honorable Secretary, cum Treasurer, IST, for few words to inaugurate this FDP. May I request Bhaskar sir to say a few words, please sir.
Yeah, thank you, and very good morning to all. Respected Principal Professor J.T. Patankar, Coordinator Professor Manisha Mehta, and Co-Coordinator Meeta V. Prajapati, and the host faculty member. It gives me immense pleasure to join with you on the occasion of this inauguration session, that is for the training program. That's a refresher course being organized by the Computer Engineering Department of Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar. The topic is one of the ongoing, technological trends in terms of developing applications on mobile phone, making use of Flutter. So very interesting topic, and as I was going through the details of the program, there are going to be very learned speakers to share their experiences, views, and refreshing the memories as a part of programming that all the participants must have gone through in their educational attainments so far. Regarding IST, that is Indian Society for Technical Education, in India, it has its existence since the year 1968 as a registered institution under the Societies Act. So far, the IST has individual members as a life member, and the family extends to more than 150,000 individuals. GP Gandhinagar is one of the institutional member where in India across there are more than 2,800 institutes who are a member to this institution, and students also can become member. We have more than 5 lakh student members across the country in these institutional members. These institutional members are allowed to establish faculty chapter and student chapters, both for faculty members and students respectively. And across the nation, we have more than 1,500 faculty chapters and 1,600 student chapters active, performing some or the other activities relevant to excelling the technical education. IST has been serving AICTE as a strategic partner since many years and have been instrumental in imparting and organizing such training programs by means of not only availing financial assistance but also extending support through expertise who are in the network available with the IST. So, the IST at state level has institutionalized more than 70 national and regional awards, which are nominated every year in the month of December. So, the announcements are flowed through websites, and any individual, life member, or institutional can send their nomination claiming for the remarkable works, exemplary works to be recognized by means of these awards. In Gujarat, we have presence of IST since long. However, as a section of the state governance, the Gujarat state section under IST is operative since the year 1989, and we have in here more than 8,500 life members, having 35,000 plus student members around the year. About 180 institutes are institutional members in the IST that belongs to Gujarat state in regional context, and 70 plus IST faculty chapters we have. Now, about the activities, if we see the IST chapters and state section together conducts the state conventions at an annual level for students as well as faculty as two different programs, whereas the faculty conventions are more or less like a format of a conference, and the student conventions are having the format of students' technical festivals. So, improving their inputs and exploration in the knowledge in different domains. Apart from that, Gujarat state has institutionalized 17 state level awards, and the announcements are flowed in the month of December through a notification inviting proposals for recognition. Each of the student chapter can send their nomination for recognizing one best student from the student chapter every year. That state section recognizes by means of availing an award and a certificate of an honor. So far, the Gujarat state section has conducted two international conferences, one being at Thailand, Asian Institute of Technology, and another in the Bali, in the year 2016 and 18, respectively. These refresher programs are very much purposed to serve the development of an individual, not only as a teacher, availing the information about ongoing current trends in specific domain of service, but the idea is to prepare the individuals to having interdisciplinary understanding, as there is domain specific expertise, domain specific knowledge existence, but when it comes to the problem of the society and addressing of the same, it becomes very much interdisciplinary. So there are different participants might not be belonging to specific domain of computer science or computer engineering or IT. Like for example, for myself, I am a civil engineer, And so far, I have performed in GIS, that is Geospatial Information Technology, and did my PhD. Utilized that GIS technology, which is completely computer-based. Image processing is essential for the working, as well as in recent days I have been exploring Python programming, and I can create my own website. Likewise, so whenever we need to perform certain tasks as a teacher, we may come across this sort of technological tools that very much needed. So the point here is I want to highlight that interdisciplinary knowledge is very much essential for any teacher to have. As the teaching is a language of technology, and it is said that education is for culture of heart and values. So not only the text part or the examples or numerical parts are the only thing that we need to inculcate in our students, but it comes with a very uh, responsible task to create a culture that is based on value system. So a teacher merely delivers an educational program following the schemes and syllabus and accesses the students' participation, their evaluation. However, they provide a consistent and substantial leadership for the crowd of students, setting up different examples in at different instances. Now, while performing these tasks, a teacher comes across a number of challenges. Like first of all, very primary thing is to deliver content and how to keep the interest of the students and keep them attracted and keep them retained within whatever knowledge is being shared. So for that, we need to have the keys of consistent motivation for the students to be imparted with, and they come across with a number of problems. So we also need to tackle. We need to develop an ability to tackle their problems, and while doing all this, a teacher devises one's own appropriate method most suitable to address all sort of challenges that are coming up front. As an individual teacher, will be facing different challenges apart from another teacher. So, as a teacher, the build of the person is unique in a way, and however, all of us, all the teachers are addressing one specific aspect that my students must be job ready. So we keep on pushing a lot of efforts to inculcate different skills and improve their level of competencies in these skills so that they can become job ready, they can become market ready in a way. And for that, many of the students, we are facing this issue for language to be barrier at times. In government polytechnic, there is certain relaxation, but as soon as the students are leveraged for higher level educations, then language becomes a barrier. So developing verbal ability is also very much essential for the students, and teachers need to keep pushing those agendas which are beyond the teaching schemes and syllabus. The knowledge in the content, whatever we need to deliver, needs to be expertise by the teacher. So a continuous reference, revisiting those old memories of learning in different topics, the logics, the science, the procedures, the step-by-step approaches. We need to keep on revisiting each of them from time to time and look forward to come up with certain, most suitable pedagogical approach for delivering this content. So in the meanwhile, we also need to have interpersonal skills developed, and uh, the changing of the technology, changing of the practices. I was looking at one session um, dedicated to national education policy of 2020. So how do we go about it? So the situations are changing, the teaching patterns are changing. So we need to be adaptive, and adaptability, that is exactly the opposite of the convention, and we need to bring in that part in our own personality and the thought processes. So it is said that mediocre teachers tells and a good teacher explains well. A superior teacher would demonstrate and make others learn. However, the great teachers would inspire their students to keep moving and take on different levels of challenges in whatever practices they do. Apart from that, while we address to any societal problems or challenges, we need to also explore the ancient Indian knowledge that are existent. So that part must not be missed of whatever work we are looking into. And as we all know, the disruptive ideas are spreading all around. The model of business, the model of performing certain practices are changing, and this is a time of or era of innovations. As we see through that, the state government and central government are pushing a lot to bring in innovation, and it leads to IPR, and it leads to betterment of the society in whatever delivery of the products or services are being given. So, with that note, I wish all of you to have a successful event ahead, full of learning, adding value to an individual's skills, and best wishes to all of you for the year 2022 up ahead. So, once again, I thank organizers of the event for inviting me on the occasion, and wishing you all the very best to capture as much knowledge as you can, and making all the sessions interactive, and attending all these sessions uh, with responsibility, shouldering to take our country forward. So that is the very basic purpose of this sort of programs. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your encouraging words. And now may I invite Professor J.T. Patankar, sir, Honorable Principal, Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar, for his address to this faculty development program. Please, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to all the dignitaries, Dr. Bhaskar Bhatt, sir, Dr. A.C. Dhaneswar, sir, Dr. Raza Nurani, sir, all faculty members of Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar, and all the participants. Myself, Mr. J.T. Patankar, Principal, Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar, welcomes all of you on behalf of our Polytechnics Gandhinagar, as well on behalf of the Director of Technical Education, to this 6 days online refresher program on application development using Flutters. We are passing through the COVID-19 through pandemic uh, in a very almost in a third wave. So the COVID-19 pandemic brought huge amount of losses in terms of physical, emotional, and financial terms. It created a big challenge in the education sector. Globally, millions of students are not able to attend the physical classes, but by the advancement in the technology, it gives an immense number of opportunities to overcome the situation in the education field. E-learning, or you can say online education, is the solution, where by teaching is undertaken remotely and on digital platforms. Online learning widens the prospects of education through the large number of participation from all over the world. In the same way, research suggests that online learning has been shown to increase in retention of information and also takes a less time. So here we have planned and associated with AICT and IST to conduct this online refresher program. From our Department of Computer Engineering, that was established in 1991 to run the diploma level program in the area of computer engineering recognized by AICT. Initially, it started the computer engineering diploma engineering program with the 30 intakes. Gradually, the intake increased to the 180 intake. In the past, the computer department of Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar has organized so many and various faculty development programs, workshops, webinars, and seminars for the students, faculties, as well as for the industry experts. I feel pleasure that today, again, the computer engineering department has come with another one faculty development program, the title Application Development Using the Flutter. And you know that Flutter plays a very vital role in the web development. Flutter is an open source UI software development kit created by the Google. Most of the developers worldwide free for Flutter for remarkable cross-platform app development tools. Apps created with Flutter's features beautiful and intuitive design and are able to run animation very smoothly. It is also used to make the web responsive. So I ensure that this refresher program will definitely beneficial to the all audience and to the all participants. And then very next coming few days, you will be enjoy this program. And I wish that this program is going to be very, very, very fruitful to every of the participants. So I stop here myself. Thank you very much. And let proceed further. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, our next dignitary is Dr. A.C. Dhaneswar, sir, Deputy Director, Commissioner of Technical Education, Government of Gujarat, to align this FDP, but due to some unavoidable reasons and preoccupied schedule, he is unable today to join this here. So he left us a message that my best wishes to organizing team and all the participants who have registered for this updating the skills. I wish all the success to STTP focusing on such an important and relevant topic. Best regards to the team and the participants. Thanking you, sir, for such a compliments. Now, I cordially invite Mr. Raza Nurani, sir, co-founder and CEO of Impero IT Services Private Limited, and glad to announce that Mr. Raza Nurani, sir, is a former student of Miss MP Mehta ma'am, Honorable Head of the Computer Engineering Department, Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar, and now sir is here to inaugurate this faculty development program, and we are also having the very first session of this FDB to be begin by the Nurani sir as well. So now I request Mr. Raza Nurani sir to say a few words to inaugurate this faculty development program. Please, sir.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. I am Raza Nurani, CEO of Impero IT Services Private Limited. We are an award-winning Ahmedabad-based app development company with a presence in Ireland and Denmark. I am very excited to be part of this refresher course, and I'm thankful to All India Council of Technical Education, Indian Society for Technical Education Board for sponsoring this session, and especially Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar for inviting me. I would like to welcome all the dignitaries, Professor J.T. Patnakar, Dr. Bhaskar Bhatt, Manisha Madam. I still call Manisha Madam because she is my professor. She was my professor, and all the organizers for attending, and all the attendees for attending this session. In fact, it's a dream come true for me because I am alumnus of Government Polytechnic Ahmedabad, and it was the culture, knowledge, exposure, and grooming which I got under the expert guidance of faculties there, especially Manisha Madam, which helped me reach where I am today. Today, I'm heading a team of 50 developers at Impero IT Services, and we have been developing apps for the government organizations, enterprises, as well as startups across the globe. We also have been featured by Forbes magazine in June 2021 for being tech partners of some of the most successful startups. For this particular refresher program, I believe it's super important to have such refresher sessions to educate and inculcate recent and most updated knowledge of the technologies to the faculties who can in turn share this knowledge with the students, and we can create a society where we have students with great technical exposure and knowledge when they come out of the college. In fact, I would like to quote here Scott McNally, who is the CEO and co-founder of Sun Microsystems. He mentions that technology has the shelf life of banana. Just like banana doesn't stay good for more than 3-4 days. It's the same with the technologies. And in this ever evolving world, the technologies are changing very fast. In fact, what we learn in 2 years is updated like, every 2 years. So what a student learns and then he get expert at, and then when he comes to the market, he realizes that technology is no longer relevant with the market standards. And that's the reason that it is very important to remain abreast of technologies, especially Flutter and all those latest technologies coming, so that we can share this knowledge with our students as well. And I truly believe that without knowledge of these latest frameworks like Flutter, any student would face a hard time getting absorbed in the market once he completes his education. So I very much feel humbled to be here and speak in front of all of you. In fact, all of you are my gurus because I did study under you. But I hope that I will be able to share some valuable insights based on what I have learned in my career of 10 years in app development. I will speak at length after this inaugural ceremony on where is the tech world heading to, and where I will share in detail, what things are changing, how the tech world is evolving, and how we can evolve and how we can train our students to evolve continuously in order to be successful in their professional career. Again, I am very much thankful for all of you to attend this session, and I hope that my presence will add some value to this excellent program. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We will meet you very soon in the very first session, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Now, may I request Senior Lecturer Ms. Meeta Prajapati Madam from a Computer Engineering Department of Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar to conclude this inauguration ceremony and for the vote of thanks. Please, ma'am.
Am I audible, Ghanshyam sir?
Yes, ma'am, clearly audible.
Good morning to all. AICT IST sponsored CT approved online refresher program, and that is going to start from today, from 11th January to 7th January 2022 on subject application development using Flutter. Myself, Meeta V. Prajapati, lecturer from Computer Engineering Department. Due to unavoidable circumstances, head of the Computer Engineering Department, Manisha P. Mehta Madam is not able to remain present in this inauguration function. So, on behalf of head of the Computer Engineering Department, I would like to thank you to Dr. Bhaskar Bhatt sir, Honorable Secretary cum Treasurer IST. I would like to thank you to Dr. A.C. Dhaneshwar sir, Deputy Director City Gujarat. I would also like to thank you to Mr. Raza Nurani, co-founder and CEO Impero IT Services Private Limited. I thank you all dignitaries for sparing your valuable time for us and sharing your views regarding this refresher program. We are going to conduct total 18 sessions throughout 6 days of online refresher program, and most of the experts and speakers are doctorate and knowledgeable. So total 74 participants will be benefited from this refresher training program. And at last but not least, I would like to thank you to our respected principal, Government Polytechnic Gandhinagar, Shri J.T. Patankar sir, for his continuous guidance and support to arrange this refresher training program. Without his support, it would not have been possible to arrange this training. So thank you very much, sir. I would also like to express my gratitude to our head office for giving the permission for arrange this training. Thank you all participants and faculty members. I also appreciate sincerity and hard work of our active team members, Manisha Chaudhary Madam, Shraddha Thakkar Madam, Ghanshyam Jadeja sir, and Tejal Chaudhary Madam, and all faculty members of the department who directly and indirectly supported for this refresher program. So once again, thank you to all.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you all the dignitaries and the participants for your valuable time and inputs for this inauguration ceremony. Now I conclude inauguration ceremony here, and it is a time to begin the very first session of day 1 for the faculty development program of application development using Flutter. So we will begin our very first session of the day with the speaker, honorable speaker, Mr. Raza Nurani sir. I am glad to announce that he is a CEO and founder of Impero IT Services Private Limited, an Ahmedabad-based application development boutique. And very pleasure to announce that He accredited with Certificate of Excellence from Indian Army for developing customized software to manage equipment at 12 plus battalions. One of their applications also being adopted by Google, and also their apps have been selected for mentorship by Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation. So we are really having great opportunity to begin our very first session of such a dignitary. So without wasting any precious moment further, I would like to directly hand over to the speaker of this session, Mr. Raza Nurani, sir. Please, sir.
Thank you very much for the introduction. I would like to share my presentation with you all. The topic is where the tech world is heading to. Let me share my screen and then we can start the presentation. Excellent. So my today's topic is where tech world is heading to. As professors, as faculties, we really need to understand where the tech world is heading to and how can we educate our students to stay at top of these changing technologies. Now you all are in academics and you all are my gurus. So you know better than me, especially from the academic angles. But I would like to share some insights from the company's point of view or from the practical point of view in the companies where the students are enrolling, they are taking up jobs, and what we have learned by working with a lot of different companies, a lot of different clients in last 10 years. So before we start the topic, a brief about myself. Uh, as uh, as you know, I'm CEO and founder of Impero IT Services Private Limited, and I'm proud alumnus of Government Polytechnic Ahmedabad. At Impero IT Services, we develop mobile solutions for startups, enterprise, and government organizations across the globe. We have worked with the likes of Indian Army, where we were accredited with Certificate of Excellence. We have worked with Washington Fire Department, where we automated their fire inspection procedures. In fact, we have worked with a lot of enterprises, including Times of India, ITC, Publicis Group, as well as Divya Bhaskar. Uh, I will be sharing my experience of 10 years as an app developer. Uh, and we do have a bit of knowledge as we have worked with more than 120 projects. Our applications have been downloaded over the 10 million times. Startups we have developed or we have worked with have been valued at more than $300 million. So I can say that I know a thing or two about app development. These are some of the achievements we have achieved through our company. Uh, an app we developed was selected by Google under Google Adopt a Startup program. Another application which we developed, a mobile application, was selected for mentorship by Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Our company has been awarded by Clutch, which is an B2B research and review portal, as top app developers in India. And Forbes magazine has taken into consideration our work and they have featured us in their magazine of June 2021. We have also worked with a lot of different startups using Flutter as well as different technologies. And moving forward in this presentation, I'll share what I have learned in my journey and what different things you can share with your students. Uh, so this is the agenda of today's meeting. We'll be discussing it for around 40 minutes. And I hope this session to be a bit of interactive. So I also want you to speak, you to share, your thoughts whenever you think appropriate. If you have anything to add in my presentation, you are most welcome to share your thoughts. We will be discussing 6 different things. The first one is evolution of mobile. how mobile has evolved over last 50 years, and then how it has created a mobile first world. So the world we live is truly mobile first, where the mobile solutions are applying, how it has changed our world, and how we can use these mobile solutions, mobile applications to be even more productive. The next one is how mobile revolution have accelerated the technologies development and how it has changed the technology world on its own. And then we'll discuss a bit about different development tools, especially Flutter, and we'll conclude with the question answers or the discussion session. Uh, this is something which Matt Galligan has quoted that, in my opinion, the future of mobile is future of everything. And I can very much relate to this. So when I started this company, immediately after I completed my engineering in government polytechnic, I realized that a lot of my clients wanted a website, a web portal in the initial years. Now the industry has changed, and in last few years, I've realized that majority of my clients now need me to develop a mobile application and not a website. So we can say that the world is slowly and gradually moving towards mobile solutions. Everything is getting mobile first, and we I can say that mobile is actually leading the development for all the other technologies. So what's happening is the mobile solutions, the mobile applications, mobile world is accelerating at such a fast pace that all the other technologies are accelerating along with it, and they in turn accelerate the mobile development. So it's all in a circle. It's growing super fast, and it's changing the world in its entirety. Let's start with the mobile evolution. So it was 3rd of April 1973 when the first call was made through a Motorola device. Motorola was the first manufacturer to create a mobile phone, and it made its first call to Bell Labs in US. So this was in 1973. This instrument was weighing more than 1 kg. It had to be charged for more than 10 hours in order to use it for 30 minutes. So it, as you can see, it was not commercially viable to have this product. Uh, Even though the first mobile call was made in 1973, it took 19 years until Nokia released its first commercially viable product, which was called Nokia 1011. And this was released in 1992, 11 years after the first mobile call was made. So initially, the pace of the mobile development or the evolution of the mobile was very slow. It took 20 years from getting from a phone which was weighing more than 1 kilo to phone which was weighing around 500 grams. From a phone which couldn't be used by in a commercially viable manner to a phone which could be used by the public. So Nokia had their first GSM enabled phone in 1992. Uh, the first mobile application was developed by IBM Simon. So this was in 1994 where they developed their first mobile application, which could be installed on a mobile phone. And obviously, it wasn't like you can just go to Play Store and install. There were complex procedures involved even to install mobile phones, and it took 14 years for Apple to come up with their App Store in year 2008. So it took 14 years after the first app was developed for Apple to come up with an app store in 2008, which was having around 300 different mobile applications. So it's not it's nothing like this was the first app. The Apple Store was having more than 300 apps at the time of launch, and what started as 300 apps in 2008 now has more than 5 million applications in Google and Apple stores. So you can see it took so many years from 1973 to 2008 for apps to really come into the market. And then from 2008 to 2021, it has been so fast that in the last 11, 12 years, we have got more than 5 million applications in app stores, which we can use and download and install whenever, however, whatever the way we like. In fact, the app word itself became so popular that in year 2010, the app word was awarded Word of the Year. So it became so popular. Now, this app revolution has created so many different jobs. In fact, I wouldn't have achieved this success without mobile and mobile apps. It has created millions of jobs. Hundreds of thousands of different companies have been working on mobile apps, and it has actually changed the IT perspective from the base. So now anything you need to do, you need to first think of a mobile app and then the IT solution. Whatever solution you need to provide, you need to think of in mobile app. So there are millions of jobs which this revolution has created, and thousands and hundreds of companies which have boomed due to this mobile revolution. So let's see how mobile has truly changed the lives. And I would like to share a very interesting statistics with you. Uh, these are the top inventions, and the time taken for the top inventions to reach 50 million people is mentioned here. It took 68 years for aviation, for aeroplane to reach 50 million people. It took 46 years for electricity to reach 50 million people. The normal phones, it took 50 years for normal phones to reach 50 million people. But smartphones or mobile phones, it only took 12 years to reach 50 million people. So you can see how fast mobile is being adopted. And the speed, the pace of the mobile adoption is something which has changed a lot of things around it. So initially the mobile were just used for normal calling. Then it was used for a bit of gaming, and then it was used for utilities. And now we can see that mobile phones are used for anything and everything. Whatever concept you have in mind, you just type in, a keyword on Apple Store or Google Play Store, and you are going to find an app related to that. So your mobile phone can do anything and everything. The power of mobile is in its adoption. So recent statistics tells that there are more than 6.6 billion smartphone users in the world. It means that more than 83% of the world is having smartphones. Now, this is a huge, huge, huge number. No other technology is accessible by such a huge number of people. So, what happens is whenever any company, any organization, any government, anyone wants to reach the mass audience, they have to think of reaching through mobile. They have to find a solution which can interface on a mobile app. They have to find a solution which can be connected from a mobile app in order to reach mass audience. And it was the power and the speed of this adoption that the mobile revolutionized Web 1.0, Web 2.0, and Web 3.0. So initially in Web 1.0, it was just like a one-way communication. You can consider this like as a teacher speaking to students only. And in Web 2.0, it was like both the ways. So not only you can see the information on internet, you can also interact with that information and you can find the information of your preference. So it was something like teacher talking to student and student talking back to the teacher. And then with the Web 3.0, it's like everything is connected. Teacher talking to student talking to other students, student talking to teacher, and it's a mesh topology where everyone is connected with everyone. And that was the Web 3.0, 3.0 revolution was accelerated through the mobile phones because The peer-to-peer connection was so easy. Everyone was able to connect with everyone, and that revolutionized this industry. Now, what's happening is the time spent by users on mobile phone is very huge, is very large. Everyone is on their phone. So this is changing uh, the parameters of all the industry. Let's say, for example, the advertisement industry. Previously, the companies were paying to have their billboards, to have the advertisement banner on the roads. But now they are paying even more to get space on the mobile devices in a form of a mobile advertisement. So the logic here is when everyone is on the mobile, when everyone is spending time on the mobile, it's very evident that the world will start looking at how we can leverage these mobile users, how we can leverage the number of users who are using their smartphones and connect with them and increase our business or to educate them or to connect with them. Let me share you a very interesting number. Can anyone tell what is this? Or this is basically an computer which was used to control Apollo 11 spacecraft. Now, as you all know, Apollo 11 was the first spacecraft which took humans on moon. And the interesting thing here is to know is that this computer which was controlling Apollo 11 spacecraft is a lot less powerful than the mobile phone I'm using. In fact, you will be very much surprised to know that the typical smartphone I'm using today is 7 million, 7 million times more powerful than the processor of this computer which was controlling Apollo spacecraft. So you can realize, how powerful today's mobile phones are, how powerful the processors are, and it means that we still haven't fully leveraged, still haven't fully utilized the power of mobile phone. Theoretically, my phone is 7 million times more powerful than the computer which was used to control Apollo 11 spacecraft. And that brings us to an interesting possibility of endless applications, endless uses using how this mobile phone can be used. I would like to show some statistics, some possibilities on how the phone can be used. And as I mentioned earlier, that now when every user is having mobile phone, every user is having smartphone device, every user is having a world in his pocket, whatever, however, whichever innovations are taking place, the interface comes on mobile. For example, robot cleaners. These robot cleaners are getting very popular nowadays. You can schedule cleaning of your house even before you wake up in the morning. Your house is clean. It has been groomed. It has been mopped. But how do you use this robot cleaner? You have that mobile application using which you can create a map on your phone, and this robot cleaner is going to use that information to move around your house. In fact, consider Ola scooter. They are bringing up this electric scooter that is controlled via mobile phone. In fact, Ola scooter is running Android OS to control the scooter on its own. They don't have any key. It can only be unlocked through a mobile phone. Not only this, there are inventions, there are discoveries which are happening which would enable users to check their glucose level through mobile phone. We can check oxygen level, we can check ECG, everything through mobile phone and wearable devices. In fact, you name anything and we can do that through mobile app. I want to measure the length of this table. I can take my mobile phone and I can see, okay, this is 4 feet long. I want to design my house on the phone. I can use any interior software, and I can see in real life how I can design my house and how it will look like in real life. In fact, the mobile phones are so powerful. There was an article which showed that a doctor is using iPhone 13 Pro to study the eyes, to study the changes in eyes. So not only the mobile apps, not only the softwares, but the hardware is also so powerful that it is being used instead of complex machines. Let me share you an interesting example of one of things we achieved through the app development. We developed this application which was called Sure Wash, and what it does is it educates students, it educates children on how to wash their hands using World Health Organization WHO recommended health washing techniques. So WHO recommends that in this pandemic you have to wash your hands not just like you're washing normally, but there are 7 different steps involved in washing your hands. So there are 7 different techniques which you need to use in order to wash your hands in a manner that there are no virus remaining on your hands. So what we did is we developed an application to guide, to share knowledge on how the hand can be washed in an efficient manner. And not only that, at the end of this training session, in the phone, the kids can wash their hands in front of the mobile camera, and the camera is going to tell them, okay, you have washed your hand properly or not. It is going to tell them, okay, you need to change your direction, or you need to apply more pressure, or you need to cover more area of your hand, everything. So you can see this was something we developed based on World Health Organization's recommendation. But you can see any concept, anything which you have in mind can be developed using mobile technologies. And the technologies and the platform are so sophisticated nowadays that any concept you have can be developed very easily using mobile phones. And later, Zoomil is going to share, how you can develop applications using Flutter, and that's going to be very interesting because Flutter is a technology where you can leverage all the different hardwares and all the different APIs which can be available through a mobile phone and which can be available through Android and iPhones. So this was a simple example on how we leveraged computer vision technology to teach hand washing techniques to different students. Now, let us share how different technologies are accelerated through mobile revolution. The thing is, the beauty is, everything is connected. Every technology is connected. And when the mobile technology is moving forward by leaps and bounds, it is in turn also accelerating growth and research in different technologies. And the beauty is, all these different technologies, when they grow, they have to provide interface through a mobile app, be it as we mentioned, be it like an Ola scooter or a Tesla car or any electric vehicle or anything or the robots cleaner, the interface, the connection with the end user is done through mobile app, because mobile is the only interface which can be connected, which can be used to connect with more than 83% of the users of the world. So anything you do, any revolution you bring, at the end you have to create a mobile app. At the end you have to create a mobile interface to let people connect with the technology. So mobile world is pushing these technologies, and then these technologies are in turn pushing mobile world, and that's where the innovation and the technology growth is happening at a rapid pace. So let me share some of these trending technologies which are accelerated through mobile solutions, and the very first is artificial intelligence. Now all of you must have, I am getting a warning here that the sound quality might not be great. So am I audible? Can everyone listen properly?
Yes, sir, you are clearly audible, but if you don't require, may you switch this video off, so to minimize the bandwidth requirements, sir. If it is not necessary for you, then can you please switch off your video, sir?
Sure, no problem. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, great. So the first one is this artificial intelligence. Now, let me give you an interesting analogy. Usually, I get late at office, and when I go home, my mom usually waits for dinner. So one fine day, when I went home, my mom was waiting for me as usual for dinner. She served me the food, and then I start, like as soon as I was going to have my first bite, my mom asked me, Raza, do you know what is AI? And I was like, yeah, I know. It's Air India. Do you want to go somewhere? Like, do you want to travel? And she was like, oh, no, I'm not talking about Air India. So I told, like, what are you talking about? Like, AI means Air India. I didn't realize, she was talking about like real computer AI. So I asked, like, what then, like, AI means Air India. What are you talking about? And she was like, no, I'm talking about artificial intelligence. And then I realized, oh, she must have read somewhere in the newspaper. So I asked, like, what about AI? What you want to know? And she was like, you are always on your computers and you are a computer engineer. So can you explain me about AI? And I was in a spot there because I can't say AI definition that it captures the data and it processes the data, and it it releases data points and all those things, because that would be of no use. So I thought for a while, and then I told, you see the plate I'm eating in? And she was like, yes, you are eating this, rotis and chapatis and, like, sweets and gravy and everything. So I told, consider this as a smart dish. This is not a normal dish. This is a smart dish. What it will do is, it will analyze how you are eating, how, at what time you are eating, what are your eating preferences, how many chapatis you are consuming, how much sweet you are consuming, how much rice you are consuming. It will analyze you for 2 weeks, and then from the third week onwards, it's going to trigger warnings for you. And she was like, how? So I told, for example, if you are eating 3 chapatis daily in dinner, and one fine day you eat 4 chapatis, then your smart dish will start getting vibrated, and it is going to trigger a warning. Hey, Raza, you are eating more. Why? For example, if I am having diabetes, God forbid, and if I take too much of sweet, the dish is going to vibrate saying, hey, Raza, don't you know you have got diabetes? And she was like, oh, really? And I told, yeah, this is what is the power of artificial intelligence. So this is an analogy, but it helps us understand, like, how everything is going to get smarter, how artificial intelligence is going to capture all different data points and analyze our patterns, and how it is going to make life easier for us. In fact, it is estimated that by year 2050, computer intelligence will exceed the capabilities of human brains. So combine capabilities of all the human brains combined, all the human brains, it will be lesser than the combined intelligence of computers and the data which it has. Now, this is truly fascinating how artificial intelligence is going to change our lives. And that brings us to the next interesting topic, which is Internet of Things. Now, when I see we are going to get smart dish, it's not just the smart dish, we are going to get everything smarter around us. There will be sensors in each and everything. There will be data points collected from everything we do. For example, we will be having sensors in our fridge, which will be called smart fridge. And what it will do, if you are running low on milk, for example, it is automatically going to place order with your vendor that, hey, Raza is running low on milk and my milk is going to be delivered to me. Even me knowing, even me thinking, even me doing anything, there will be sensors all over our body, and not like sensors as in it is going to affect me. I won't even know, and it is going to regularly monitor me. So currently what's happening is I start feeling certain problems, and then I go and get my blood reports, for example. Then I go and get my heart reports. What's going to happen is these sensors are going to constantly monitor my body, my readings, and everything. And even before things starts getting wrong, it is going to suggest preventive measures. And in case if things starts getting wrong, it is going to send those reports directly to my doctor. I don't even need to visit my doctor. My doctor is going to analyze those reports, everything he needs to know, and then he is going to prescribe a medicine, which will in turn trigger a prescription to the nearest pharmacy store. And then once the prescription is ready, someone is going to deliver it to me. So you see how these trends will happen and how those are going to simplify human lives, or rather than simplify, I can say it is going to make the human's life more interesting. We will be, even before we know something, the sensors are going to know everything, and those will be possible by IoT, which is Internet of Things. Everything is going to get smart. The chair which I am sitting on is going to trigger me a warning. Hey, Raza, your posture is not great today. Do you want to get backache? Sit straight. For example, this bottle I have is going to trigger a warning. Raza, you haven't had enough water today. Don't you feel dehydrated? This is how everything around us is going to get smart, and where it is going to notify us, how it is going to send those messages to us. All those messages are going to send to us through a mobile app, through the mobile device. So all these inventions, all these innovations are actually going to trigger the mobile revolution even more. Sometimes I wonder, everything around us will get smart, and it would be only humans which might remain dumb. But that's how everything will change across us. Everything is going to get smarter. Everything is going to get intelligent, and that brings us to our next interesting technology, which is going to power the bandwidth and the data behind all these things, which is 5G technology. Now, in order for everything to become smart, it requires huge bandwidth, huge data transfer with zero latency to give me reports and analytics and notifications in real time, and which is going to get powered by 5G. Now, 5G is not going to make things around us smart, it is also going to power smart cities. So consider a city which is so organized that you have zero traffic. It is so organized that you have zero pollution. It is so organized that everything is measured, maintained very easily, automatically through power of AI, IoT, and 5G network. Now 5G is going to change the world. For example, consider an example of autonomous driving, where a user don't need to drive a vehicle. The vehicle is going to drive on its own. We don't need a driver. That is going to be possible through 5G. The data transfer is so fast that with almost zero latency, it is going to capture all the data points around us, get it processed very fast, and then take real-time decisions on which route to take, which turn to take, how much speed there should be on a vehicle. And it will reduce the accidents, and it will make the human lives more easier. In fact, there will be the smart grids all across the cities, which is going to charge our electronic vehicles as we drive on the road. So the 5G is truly going to change the world. In fact, not just this kind of advancement, but the way we work with data. Currently, one of the problem we have with data processing is lot of data is being processed on the device itself. Lot of decisions is taken on the device itself, on the local device. But with 5G, the data transfer is going to be so fast, it won't even matter if the decisions, if the logic, if the program is run on the local device RAM or it is run on cloud computing, because the data transfer speed will be so high that it is not going to affect anymore. And in that way, we can get the power of cloud computing on our mobile devices. And that is something which is again life-changing thing, because we can do enormous calculations on our mobile phone without worrying about the delay, about the lags and anything. In fact, the 5G is going to be so fast, the things which are taking 30, 40, 50 an hour for now are going to be downloaded in seconds. I want to download a movie, I just click on the button and it's downloaded. I don't even have to wait. So these are some of the advancement which will happen through 5G. And as you all know, lots of recent devices are 5G enabled. So when 5G is rolled out, it is going to change the way we live and we work with our devices. The next interesting thing is robots and cobots. We all know about robots, but what is cobots? Cobots are collaborative robots, and how it will work is currently we need to program robots. We need to program how it will work, but with cobots, we just have to place the cobot somewhere. It is going to see how I'm working for 2 days, and from the third day, it is going to analyze all that information and it will start working just like me. So that is how the cobots will change the way we work, we live, and they are going to be much efficient, much faster than a normal human for day-to-day activities. The next interesting thing is extended reality. We all know about augmented reality, virtual reality, which is then used to create mixed reality. And all of this combined is going to take us to a new world, which is an extended reality. Currently, we are talking on Teams. There are different modes in Teams. One of them is together mode, where we can, if we all have our video on, it feels like we are, sitting together. But with extended reality, what will happen is we can create our virtual avatar, which will feel like, we are actually sitting next to each other for any of those meetings. And we can do anything in the virtual world in extended reality. And there are a lot of practical applications as well. For example, we developed an application for the students with special needs. We we created a virtual environment for them on how they will go to the school, how they will board the bus, how they will go to school, how they will interact with different students, and how they'll come back to the home. The problem with those kids was they were not able to directly go into the real world because they were feeling they were not mentally very much matured, and there were challenges with them coping up with the real environment. So the app we developed helped them virtually board the bus, go to the school, talk with students, talk with teachers, and then they got adapted to that environment. And after taking training in the virtual environment, they were able to go into the real world. This is a practical application of extended reality. One of the other application we developed, which was Keep Happy, the application which was selected by Google under Adopt and Startup program. During COVID times, when people were started feeling lonely, we added a functionality in that application where users can create a virtual keepy, a virtual dog, a virtual pet. They can name that pet, they can talk with that pet, they can interact with that pet, they can feed the pet, they can get the pet to sleep and everything. So that way, users or people who were feeling lonely, they were able to interact with someone, even if it was virtual. that was done using augmented reality. So what was happening is I'm sitting here and I can see that the dog or my pet is just in front of me. And that was possible through augmented reality. So these kind of inventions are very helpful. For example, consider you get for an MRI or CT scan. Rather than doctors seeing your 2D imaging, the doctor can actually see what's happening under you in a 3D environment. How easy it will be for the doctors to accurately diagnose what's happening with your body. So those are some of the applications with extended reality. And recently, this has gone even further with this new buzzword called metaverse. Now, metaverse, the simple definition of metaverse is the internet you are inside of rather than just looking at it. Currently, we are looking at internet. How about I tell you, we can go inside the internet, and that is exactly what metaverse is. Now, what's happening is a normal user is spending more time in virtual world than they spend in real world. Average user spends more than 6 hours daily on mobile phone. He touches his mobile screen more than 3,000 times a day. He opens his phone on an average every 6 minutes. So what's happening is companies realize there's a need of a metaverse, which is a parallel universe which will be running parallel to a real world. And what happens in metaverse is you can do everything you can do in your real world. You can create yourself, you can get married, you can have kids, you can construct a building, you can sell your house, you can buy your house, you can go shopping, you can attend music concerts, you can attend festivals, you can send gifts, you can do everything which you are doing in your real world, but everything is going to be virtual. And it's a very interesting thing which is happening right now. Facebook is pioneering this metaverse, and this is exactly going to change how people interact with each other in the real world, because they can do whatever they want in the virtual world, and then they will start replicating what they do in the virtual world in the real world, and that's going to change a lot of things around us. This is one of the most interesting things which is going to happen, and every one of one will be affected by this. And there are a lot of critics as well for the metaverse about this virtual universe, but time itself will tell how this is affecting us and users around us. And the last one is this digital twins. Consider that you can create a copy of yourself. I am Raza, but I can create a virtual Raza who is going to imitate me, who is going to speak like me, who is going to feel like me, who is going to walk like me, who is going to look like me. And I can then transfer this digital Raza into metaverse. How interesting that sounds. Now, what are the practical applications of this? In fact, digital twins concept was first used by NASA. They created digital clones of the astronauts who are going to travel to space, and they studied how going to space is affecting the bodies of those astronauts, not the real bodies, but the virtual bodies, the digital twins. And then they were able to adapt, make changes, and to educate the astronauts on how they have to do what they have to do in order to be better complete their mission. This is again a super interesting concept. Now, what will happen is, for example, I have a problem with my heart. You know, before operating my real heart, now, this is very interesting. Before operating my real heart, the doctors will be able to check with my digital twin on how and what are the problems I'm having. This digital twin is going to my best friend. I can talk with him. I can, like I can do anything I want with him because he's going to exactly my copy. And that is a super interesting concept because I can experiment with the digital twin, my virtual copy before doing something to myself. So, for example, if I want to go somewhere, if I want to feel something, rather than feeling, rather than going, rather than doing this my real self, I'll do this my digital twin, possibly in a metaverse, and see how it affects me. And then if it is good for me, I'll do it. You see, these are the some of the super interesting concepts which are happening around us right now. And as I mentioned earlier, the interface for all of these technologies will be through mobile application. And that's the real reason that we really need to understand what different technologies we can use to create a stunning mobile app, how and what tools we need to use in order to create a technology which to create a mobile app which would support all these future technologies. So, as you all know, the mobile development initially started on in WML, then it moved to J2ME, then Symbian, then slowly and gradually it moved to Java and Objective-C, and then Kotlin and Swift. In between, there were a lot of cross-platform solutions like PhoneGap, Cordova, Ionic, React Native, and latest there is a Flutter. Now, Flutter has been most successful of all of this because it has been a cross it is a cross platform solution and it supports almost everything what you can build using native platform. And the beauty of Flutter is that it is created by Google itself. Now someone would wonder, why would Google, who owns Android, would create Flutter? Because Flutter can be used not just to develop Android and iPhone, it can also be used to develop Windows app, Linux apps, Mac OS, embedded apps. It can web apps. It can be used not just for Android but five other technologies. So why would Google, who is behind Android, would create platform which can in turn be used to create different apps on a different platform? The key here is to innovate and to always adapt to. Google realized if I'm not going to create a cross-platform solution which is going to be great, someone else is going to create. And also using Flutter, if someone is just going to create an application for iPhone, it is obvious that he is also going to create an application for Android. So that way Android can also get more applications on its Play Store. The beauty of Flutter is as it is managed by Google, it is very standard. It's super easy to learn. The Dart language, which is used in Flutter, is very easy to learn for someone who is currently working on any programming language. The important thing here is to one of the important thing to realize here, and what is something we also need to share with our students is Flutter was not in the market 2 years before. Now it is all over the market. Everyone is using Flutter. And I'm very sure that in next few years, there will be something else. In fact, as per one of the analytics of the jobs that will exist in 2030, 85% haven't even been invented yet. You see that if there are jobs which are happening, which are going to be there in 2030, 85% jobs are not still even known to the public. So the key here is not just to learn a programming language, not just to learn Flutter, not just to learn the technologies. The key here is that you have to learn how to learn anything. The ability to gain new knowledge will be more valuable than the knowledge itself. And that is something, if someone just limits himself to a particular programming language, it is going to get out of the market. So that is something which is very important to convey to the students, that don't just fix yourself with a particular programming language. Learn how you can learn anything. Even more than Flutter, it's important to learn how to learn anything through internet. And it's been happening with a lot of students. They come out of this college, they learn something. They take few months to get adapted to it, then they take a couple of years to get good at it, and then they realize the technology is no more used because it has been replaced by some other technology. So it's very important to adapt, to innovate, to learn. And that's the key we also get from Google. Google had Kotlin, Google had Java, but they still invented Flutter because it was next generation. It was more useful. It was cross-platform. So if Google also continuously evolves, we also have to evolve, and we have to teach our students, never settle. Be always curious what's happening around you. Look at the things. Always be in this learning mode. Be always hungry for new knowledge, for new technologies, and be innovators and early adopters. The technology around us is changing so rapidly that if you are not going to be innovators or early adopters, it would mean that you will be thrown out of the market. So this is something I wanted to share with all of you. Thank you everyone for the listening and giving your time. And once again, I'm very much thankful to the organizers of this event for giving me chance to share my knowledge with all of you. And please, if anyone has some questions, anyone wants to ask something, maybe share their thoughts, please do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, once again for such a good session. All the participants, if you are having any question, you may ask now.
Mr. Mehdi, I have one question.
Sure.
What is your advice? How we sensitize, and as you know, our syllabus is always not at par with the industry demands. So, what is the best way to solve this gap between the current industry scenario and with the curricula?
That's a very interesting question. Uh, what happens is, what we are learning in college, as you rightly mentioned, when we come to the real world, we are like, every company is waiting to give us a job. We are in this impression. But when we go to the market, we realize the companies are using technologies we haven't heard about. And that is a very huge gap between what we are learning in the colleges and what is there in the real world. Previously, this was a major problem. It is still a major problem, but now what's happening is even what you learn in your first year of job is no longer relevant in your second year of job. I have cases where a programmer was working on Java in his first year to develop Android application, and then he realized Java is not good. In fact, it is good, but Java is becoming outdated because Google itself launched Kotlin. Now, Google was already doing great with Java, but they launched Kotlin, which replaced Java. So that guy learned Kotlin. And then in a year, the Kotlin was also replaced by Flutter. Now that guy has to learn Flutter. So the key here is that, as I mentioned, that we don't have to restrict ourselves to a particular language, a particular technology, but we have to teach our students on how they can learn, how they can, how they can learn how to learn new things, how they can leverage this online courses. In fact, the course of Harvard University, computer engineering of Harvard University, is available online for anyone to take, and that's on a free basis. So the key here is, even if we, like change the curriculum, That is obviously important. But even if we change the curriculum, it is not going to be at pace at what the languages or the technologies are changing. But if we teach our student how to learn, how to learn, how to use internet, how to take these online courses to take over the new things, then he will surely be able to adapt and be someone who can be, do great in the job market. In fact, in IT industry, daily, every day, like, and this is like, I'm not exaggerating, every day there is one new JavaScript framework which is coming to the market, and each of them is better than the previous one. So the pace at which these technologies are changing, it is unprecedented. A lot of times our clients come to us and say, hey Raza, can you develop this application in 3JS? And I am like, what is 3JS? I have to Google, and then I learn, okay, this was launched just a month back by someone. So it's going to be very hard to incorporate everything in the curriculum, but if we incorporate a chapter which would teach student how to use internet, how to leverage this vast sea of information to learn and to adapt to new technologies, it's going to be very much helpful.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone
Kotlin.
else? If you have a question, you may ask.
Kotlin. Kotlin. Kotlin.
Sorry, do you want to ask something about Kotlin?
Okay, I think, sir, you explained such a well, so participants are not having any question. Thank you very much, Raja Nurani, sir. I would like to appreciate your effort because you accepted our invitation in a short time, and you really prepared very well within the 1 day only. So it was a really appreciable and wonderful session. Thank you very much, sir, for this session.
Thank you. And I hope this session would bring some value to all of you. And, typically I address my employees, my clients, but this is the first time I'm addressing my gurus. So that also brings some nervousness. But thank you everyone for listening with attention. And I hope I'll be in touch with all of you. And this information will some way find a way to your students, and it will help the students as well to make informed decisions and be on top of the current technologies. Thank you again.
Yes, sir, of course. Thank you very much. Dear participants, we are ending the first session of day one. We will meet right at 12:30 p.m. for the second session of the day. Okay, so I hope all the participants will join at a time at 12:30 p.m. sharp. Thank you very much, sir, and thank you very much all the participants.
Thank you.